Here's the view, a rather gray day with periods of rain. We've got more rain in the forecast, but we've also got a return to winter. I'll explain that.
Could affect thousands of other families. It has a great potential.
Hoosiers are afraid of losing their homes. The home's in jeopardy and the effort underway now to prevent it from happening.
A survivor is on a mission to end child abuse in Indiana. I'm Stephanie Wade with who he's partnering with in the community.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Umbrellas up and rain coming down, a gray and wet day across central Indiana, and there is more on the way.
And to add to that, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory says we're not done with winter yet either. He's here now to fill us in. Kevin.
We've got some mornings in the teens on the way. That's a little bit down the road here this week. Also some snow midweek. We'll talk about that in the main weather. 43, that's our current temperature. The wind out of the southeast. The temperature will not change much over the next 24 hours. So this will remain rain for central Indiana. Let's talk about our rain probabilities through the evening hours. We'll see a little lull here for a while, then they'll pick up again, especially in the southern half of the state as we go through the late night into the early morning hours. I've jumped to the north and east of Indianapolis. Here's the radar site. All this rain pushing northeast quickly. That's a good thing because these are pretty good downpours rolling through Ball State, Muncie, in Delaware County up toward Marion, and then between Anderson and Marion, all that along I-69. Rainfall rates maybe an inch in an hour's period of time, but it won't be there that long. Notice what happens as you come to the southwest. The absence of any rain, that's our little break. There is one little downpour just developed north of Crawfordsville, but this spin here in Missouri will push more rain our way tonight. And again, that's targeting the southern half of the state. Temperatures, they're in the 40s for now. We'll talk about the other changes after the rain ends tomorrow coming up.
Homeowners afraid of losing their homes as RTV6 is finding out thousands of those living along the White River could see themselves in the same spot. Troy Washington is working for you to explain what is in the works to save these homes.
For Lyra Bates, this home needs to stand tall on its stilts in Martin County in order to keep her mother's memory alive.
This was a lifelong dream of my mom's, to have a little family getaway place. She worked for a long time to save up for this cabin.
Deborah Beasley had a heart attack and died in December. This family can't start the process of mending their broken heart because they say the Department of Natural Resources wants their cabin gone.
It basically says that the DNR had determined that this home was in a floodway and that they say there's a loss of life situation at risk if the home continues to exist, and that there is no choice other than to remove the home.
The family got a letter last spring. According to them, the DNR wouldn't budge or negotiate with them.
So not only are you out your home that you've been paying for 10, 20 years, you also have to pay to have it torn down.
This family isn't the only family that stands to take a loss when it comes to their investment.
It could affect thousands of other families. It has a great potential.
Further down the White River, Mark Krager couldn't imagine living anywhere but on the river.
They'll carry me out of here boot first. Or float me out.
He's lived in the North Broad Ripple area overlooking the river since the 70s. He hasn't been contacted by the DNR, but after we told him about other families being told to remove their homes or else, he didn't agree with that process. Right now, there's a bill circulating that could be a game changer for homeowners like Mark Krager. Senate Bill 433 would keep the Department of Natural Resources from exercising the authority to remove a home in a floodway under certain circumstances. Even if the bill makes it past the House's Natural Resources Committee, this family still won't get to keep their home, but they would get their money back to reinvest into a new dream cabin to keep Beasley's lifelong dream alive elsewhere. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
And we have reached out to the state representative that chairs the committee that needs to hear the bill to keep it from dying and have not heard back yet. DNR tells us due to pending legislation and ongoing legal review by an administrative law judge, the Department of Natural Resources cannot comment on this matter at this time.
You may not want to check your retirement account tonight. Stock markets here and around the world plummeted today as fears of the spread of the coronavirus panicked investors. After plunging all day, the Dow Dow dropped more than 1,000 points to close at just under 28,000. The drop was the worst for the index in 2 years and wiped out its gains so far in 2020. Investors are worried the virus will disrupt the global economy even more after Iran, South Korea, and Italy posted sharp increases in the number of people infected. The CDC has confirmed 53 cases of coronavirus in the United States, but there are none in Indiana. The Indiana State Health Department says it's monitoring several travelers for possible coronavirus symptoms in accordance with CDC guidelines. The 53 cases in the U.S. will include 36 people who were on board the Diamond Princess cruise ship off the coast of Japan. 3 people returned to the U.S. from China and 14 U.S. cases.
Tonight, disgraced former Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein is behind bars, taken into custody after a jury today found him guilty on 2 of the 5 criminal charges he faced. The jury found him guilty of criminal sexual assault and rape. ABC's Trevor Alt reports from New York.
Hollywood producer turned pariah Harvey Weinstein is headed to prison as a convicted rapist. A New York jury finding him guilty on 2 felony charges Monday, determining he sexually assaulted a production assistant in 2006 and raped a woman in a Manhattan hotel room 7 years later.
Weinstein, with his manipulation, his resources, his attorneys, his publicists, and his spies, did everything he could to silence the survivors. But they refused to be silent.
Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance saying the 8 women who testified against Weinstein have changed the course of history in the fight against sexual violence.
Women have the right to say no. A no is a no, regardless of the circumstances. And I told Harvey no.
The jury did acquit Weinstein of a first-degree rape charge and 2 counts of predatory sexual assault, but he's still facing 5 to 25 years in prison.
Justice has been a long time coming, but it's finally here, and it's not the end.
Weinstein has insisted any sexual relations have been consensual. He is still facing rape and sexual assault charges stemming from different alleged incidents in Los Angeles. The allegations against him sparked the Me Too movement, and now more than 80 women have accused him of sexual assault or harassment in some capacity.
The Me Too movement has educated us all about how pervasive this kind of behavior it is and how unacceptable it is. And today, the jury put an exclamation point on that.
Weinstein was remanded to jail without bail. He now awaits his sentencing on March 11th, and his defense team has said they will appeal the verdict. Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
Franklin College has a new president. The school announced today that acting president Carrie Prather now has the job effective immediately. Prather has served Franklin College for 38 years in various capacities, including athletic director and head men's basketball coach. After the season, he will step down as coach. Prather replaces Dr. Thomas Miner, who was fired last month after his arrest in Wisconsin on child sex crime charges. Franklin College will renew its presidential search in March of 2021 with the goal of selecting a president to take office during the summer of 2022.
It's so easy to blame the system and so easy to blame DCS for not noticing these signs or not picking up on these signs, but how can the community notice?
Everybody can prevent child abuse. That's what one victim of years of abuse believes and wants to help train communities to recognize the signs better. Last year, Indiana had the 2nd highest rates for child abuse in the country. The child victims in our states more than double the national average. RTV6's Stephanie Wade explains how this advocate is now working with law enforcement to save more children.
Traumatic, heartbreaking. Years of sadness.
For 13 years, Matthew Pfeiffer
and alone
and his 2 sisters were molested and abused by their adoptive parents.
And it was like severe, almost corporal punishment kind of abuse.
Locked in their rooms for more than a decade, countless beatings with rocks, branches, anything they could find.
The adoptive parents kept telling us what they were doing was normal, and us being homeschooled, we had no idea of knowing that it wasn't actually normal.
It was his brave sister Emily who escaped one day when they were running errands and alerted someone who called the police.
It was about 2 blocks to the community school, the arts, where this director was at, and we told our adoptive mother that she had gone to the bathroom.
2 years and 8 different foster homes later, just 1 month after Emily aged out of the system, she committed suicide.
Imagine if those people in the community were more aware and knew those signs and what to look for and actually were willing to step up and say, you know, this child, I don't want to see this child on the news in 5 years dead because I didn't step up and I didn't say something.
Last year, there were more than 29,000 victims of child abuse in Indiana, making our state second in the nation, only behind Kentucky.
My belief is that everybody can prevent child abuse, from the cashier at Walmart to the law enforcement officer on the street.
That as his mission, Pfeiffer started a nonprofit called A Voice for Kids, where he meets with schools, churches, foster and adoption programs, and shares habits kids who are abused might form, like hoarding food, secluding themselves.
So I was beat a lot as a kid, so I would like flinch or like put my shoulders up and my head down it was a reflex. If somebody was walking behind me, I was going to expect a blow.
He also created his own training program for police officers and shared it with the Delaware County Sheriff's Office.
But in my case, you know, I reached out to law enforcement 4 different times. It was those hang up 911 calls. I like vandalized my dad's car, so to speak. It was just opening up the driver door, airing out the back tires, and I put the stuff in the console and strew it all over the ground.
The overwhelming majority of law enforcement officers, they wouldn't even think about that. Well, why are we going back to this house for the 3rd time in 2 weeks? Because somebody's letting air out, you know, their tires. And, you know, you just don't think to interview the kids.
So at the end of the day, if I can save a life, that's super important for me.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
And the same training will be implemented soon at the Muncie Police Department. The sheriff encourages other agencies to consider contacting the organization as well. For more info, head over to our website at theindychannel.com.
An attempt to hold bad Indianapolis landlords accountable may be dead before it gets a chance to even begin. Tonight, the City County Council will vote on a proposal that would force landlords to tell tenants about their rights or face a fine. But an Indiana House committee today amended a bill to prohibit cities from creating their own ordinances about landlords, exactly what Indianapolis is trying to do. The council still will vote in a few hours on the proposal, hoping the amendment gets removed later. Earlier today, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett released a statement about the potential change in state law. He said, quote, "I am deeply disheartened by this effort to kill local protections for renters in Indianapolis. The vast majority of states have enacted real retaliation protections for tenants. And on the night in which our city is poised to adopt its own regulations at the City County Council, a watered-down version of real change is being slipped into a bill at the last minute. Stunningly, this amendment goes so far as to ban cities and towns from notifying tenants of their existing rights under the law," end quote.
It was a heartbreaking tragedy on a cruise ship, and now the grandfather of a baby who died is facing charges. Tonight, the decision that means a jury won't hear the case.
Also ahead here at 5, the emotional tribute to NBA star Kobe Bryant and his daughter. Vanessa Bryant's words for her husband and her child that left everyone in tears.
And it's all about rain potential next 24 hours. But as we get to the middle of the week, it becomes a different story. We'll talk more in detail about this coming up.
Paul, Keller and Keller, right now.
A northern Indiana man accused of dropping his granddaughter to her death on a cruise ship will head to trial this spring. Salvatore Anello appeared in court in San Juan, Puerto Rico today. He waived his right to a trial by jury. That means a judge will weigh the case. Anello faces a negligent homicide charge in the death of his 18-month-old granddaughter, Chloe Wiegand, on a Royal Caribbean cruise last July. Prosecutors say he negligently exposed the girl through an open window. Anello said he thought the window was closed, and the family says he could not have physically leaned out of that window. The trial by judge is set to start April 2nd. The family is suing Royal Caribbean for the wrongful death of Chloe.
Today, thousands of fans, friends, and family came together in Southern California to honor NBA icon Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna in a special memorial service. The father and daughter and 7 others were killed last month in a helicopter crash. It was an event filled with so much symbolism and emotion. ABC's Elena Gomez was there.
Beyonce kicked off the memorial singing what she said was one of Kobe Bryant's favorite songs. The ceremony was held on a symbolic date, 2/24, 2 numbers representing Kobe and Gianna's basketball jersey numbers. The ceremony also being held in a special location, the Staples Center, Kobe Bryant's longtime home as a Lakers star for 2 decades.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys.
Vanessa Bryant.
Vanessa Bryant gave an emotional tribute to her loved ones.
I cannot imagine life without her. Mommy, Natalia, Bianca, Capri, and Daddy love you so much, Gigi.
The memorial also including other emotional tributes to the Laker legend.
In the game of basketball, in life, as a parent, Kobe left nothing in the tank.
The event is being called a celebration of life.
But I want my daughters to know and remember the amazing person, husband, and father he was.
Honoring and celebrating the lives of Kobe and Gianna Bryant, with people supporting the family in LA and around the world. The memorial today also honored the 7 other victims who died alongside Kobe and Gianna Bryant in that helicopter crash. All ticket proceeds will go toward the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation. Elena Gomez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
We also learned today that Bryant's widow is suing the owner of the helicopter that crashed. The wrongful death lawsuit filed by Vanessa Bryant in Los Angeles says the pilot was careless and negligent by flying in cloudy conditions on January 26 and should have aborted the flight. The pilot was among the 9 people killed that day.
A brilliant mathematician who worked on NASA's early space missions and was portrayed in the film Hidden Figures died today at the age of 101. Katherine Johnson was one of the so-called computers who calculated rocket trajectories and Earth orbits by hand during NASA's early years. Until 1958, she and other black women worked in a racially segregated computing unit in Virginia. Their work was the focus of the Oscar-nominated 2016 film. She was played by Treasure P. Henson in the film. Now, in 1961, Johnson worked on the first mission to carry an American into space. In 1962, she verified computer calculations that plotted John Glenn's Earth orbits. At age 97, she received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor.
You hear all that and you say, wow.
Wow, yeah, all the math that she had to do. It was amazing. You do a lot of math, too.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to measure in inches for snow in northern Indiana. It looks like if you have a trip planned to, say, Chicago, South Bend, Lower Michigan, Wednesday, you may want to rethink the timing on that. There could be spots that have 6 inches of snow or more. For us, mainly a rain event until we get to Wednesday. We'll get more into that in a second. Periods of rain next 24 hours as our temperatures will change very little from the 40s. They'll be steady tonight. Colder with the snow around Wednesday as temperatures continue to fall, and a very cold end to the week. There's the strip of potential heavy snow from around northwest portions, well, Quincy, Illinois toward Peoria, Chicago, clipping the northern portion of Indiana and into lower Michigan. There'll be spots that see half a foot of snow. That will obviously have some air travel impacts, and I think during the day Wednesday. For us, we've got a departing area of rain. It's been fairly heavy rain, but it's fast moving. That's the best part of that. It will exit to the north and east between Marion now and Winchester to roll through Portland, Hartford City. This is a little flare up here where we have a nice little shower southeast of Lafayette, crossing 52 and I-65, and that'll come into Clinton County. Temperatures, they're all fairly steady, as you can see, in the 40s. Nothing unordinary about that. That's our average high this time of the year. Check out Bodie. Giving me the eyes.
Bodie's adorable.
Oh, isn't he awesome? Thanks, Matt.
Nailing the puppy eyes.
Yeah, whenever you see the whites of their eyes, it always, gives you they're a little sadness, I guess. Bodie, some showers around this evening, but I think we'll also see a break in the rain from Indy south. That's showing here in the model as that lifts to the northeast. The best chance for rain coming back in a widespread area will be in the southern half of the state later tonight. That rain is building back to the southwest now. Through the day tomorrow, periods of showers. And it's possible we get to some snow late in the day in northwest Indiana. If you're trying to drive toward Chicago, late in the day tomorrow, and then definitely as we get into Wednesday, keep that snowfall in mind. Temperatures during the daylight hours tomorrow, all in the 40s. They'll fall tomorrow night with continuing showers. 11 o'clock tomorrow night, ongoing snow, or excuse me, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. There's your Wednesday snow as it turns colder in central Indiana. And right now, These are some of the model forecast potential numbers, especially in northern Indiana. Look how quickly, though, they diminish as you come to the south. We'll wait to see if there's any shift in that line of heaviest snow potential. Just confirms winter is not over.
Not yet.
As you look at the forecast, it will feel very cold, lows in the teens as we get to Friday morning and Saturday morning, and highs struggling to hit 30 degrees Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before we shoot the other way.
All right, better bundle up this week.
Looks like you're going to need to.
Right.
Well, add another option to your summer music plans. The Black Keys confirmed today that Ruoff Music Center in Noblesville is on its Let's Rock Summer Tour. The tour will feature special guest Gary Clark Jr. and the Marcus King Band will open the show here. The concert is set for Friday, July 24th. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m.
And you saw him become the greatest Jeopardy champion of all time here on RTV6. Tomorrow could be your chance to go one-on-one with him. Ken Jennings will be at DePaul University tomorrow night for a lecture at 7:30. It will also feature a Q&A where the audience can try to stump Jennings with their own trivia questions. The event is free and open to the public, but you better get there early. There are no tickets and seating is first come, first serve. Just ahead here, usually the fries come on the side, but now one fast food chain is making them the main event. What's the idea behind a French fry sandwich anyway?
2020 Ultima.
Well, Burger King made headlines in the past year with its meatless Impossible Whopper.
Now it's pushing the burger boundaries again. Take a look at the French fry sandwich.
What?
Yeah. It looks like a burger, but there is no patty in between the bun. Only plenty of French fries along with mayo and ketchup.
They're calling it the Chip Buddy. If you'd like to try it out, you really have to travel because it's only available in New Zealand right now. It's unclear if it will make its way to other markets in the future.
I guess if you're carb loading, it works.
Or you could just order a meal and take the patty out, and there you've got the...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Well, tonight we're learning the environmental impact of last week's jet fuel tanker crash, and it could be greater than originally thought.
That fuel is now being found in a creek in Irvington. The plan for the cleanup and what it means for you.
But first on the Now Indy, have you ever thought about renting an outfit for that special event instead of buying one? We take a look at the pros and cons so you don't waste your money. You're watching RTV6.